that's the baby right there. And when I was on the boat and the war started, I immediately got a book, and this is it right here. And it was very important that you didn't keep a diary, because if you were captured, then the Japs could use the diary as information and shoot. They could shoot you for having a diary. But that didn't really bother me very much, because nobody paid any attention to what I was doing anyway. I was doing my job, and that's all I needed to do. So I got out a diary, and I started right away with writing a diary. So this is my diary right here. And when it started out, it was in pretty good shape. But you can imagine, after all those almost 4 years of going in and out of the locker to write in this diary, and to try to get it through water and heat and all the things that we had to go through, the damn diary was taking a beating. See, it wasn't getting along so good. And then we had a real bad thing with my diary, because one time we heard a little noise. We made several war patrols, and now we made several war patrols, and now we were out on a war patrol, and we could hear something rattling around, making a noise up when we're sleeping. All the lights are out at night up at the torpedo tubes, and I'll be darned if one night one of the guys in one of the higher bunks was looking out, and he saw a darn rat, a whole big rat, right on our torpedo tubes. Well, this kind of shook us up, because we got all these guys sleeping in these bunks, and this rat was moving around when we had all the lights out. Well, he could be crawling right over your face, and we didn't want that. But he didn't do any of those things. And when we dove and we'd put pressure in the boat, that didn't bother him. And there were depth charges, bombs, he didn't care. He was doing just fine. Except that now how do you get rid of him? We had no rat poison. If we poisoned him, then he dies. That wouldn't be good. So we didn't know what to do. But so we were living with the rat, and so it went on for a long time. And then one day, I reached into my locker, and I opened my book up to write in the book, and I could see, this tape on the back here. The darn rat liked that glue, and so he started eating the glue off the back of my diary, and then the pages started getting a little loose in there. And I thought, holy smoke, this is terrible, because every time there was action, every day practically, if there was any action, the plane or bomb or whatever, I wrote in my diary. I just put the date, and I put, and that's the way it says inside here. So this diary worked out real good for me, and sometimes I wrote in it. Sometimes I wrote in the diary even when the action was going on, depending on what my station was. If I was later on in the war, my battle station was in the forward torpedo room, and I was in charge, so I was all alone in the forward torpedo room on the phones, and that was, here I was ideally, and in one case in my diary here, actually that day I wrote in my diary, well, here I am in the forward room. We're making a battle surface here, and I'm not on any of the guns or anything. So my job is to be here and there. So I just picked this diary right out of the locker, and I opened her up, and I started writing. So you can see, if you look through this diary, where when we're making this attack, and we were supposed to capture this ship. So the idea was that we were supposed to capture the ship. So we didn't dare sink them. We were just trying to board him so that we could capture the records and stuff. It was a boat that was, they told us, was trying to get through to Wake Island. We were on our way out on a war patrol. And this boat was trying to get through to the guys at Wake Island, because we had kind of isolated them at that time. So you couldn't, they were, what we found out later, they were trying to bring them food and stuff like that, because they were starving on Wake Island, because we had cut them off. That was later on in the war. So anyway, so I'm sitting down there, and so they started this action, and so I started writing in my book, and I've got it right here, and I maybe could show it to you, and it'll show you here where I made a mark for every time we fired, and the crazy thing was that we kept missing them, or whatever happened with a 5-inch gun, and we fired 87 rounds. Here we are. I'll just hold this up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but there's some little marks there, and every time you see that little mark, and then I wrote in my book, here goes the 5-inch again, and there they are. Mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Then I say, no hits yet, and this is all in this diary while the action is going on. And it was fun for me because I was doing my duty. I was in charge of the room, and I was taking care of it. But here I was able to write in the diary, and I thought it was kind of unusual at that time.